2001. That was a horrible year for me. I experienced my two only injuries in that year in Jamaica at the 7-side championship. At my very first game, like 2 minutes into the game, I was so eager to go. I sprained my ankle like 2 minutes into the game, and that was pretty much it.
Hit that.
I think the minute I stepped on a practice field for rugby, the calling happened.
An 8-year plan to be on the team, and I was in it within 2 years.
Don't wait until you are a pro to be a pro, right?
And I walk around with a rugby ball sometimes, and they're like, "What is this child on?"
It looked like it was a heavy hit.
It's up. It's not up.
You know, that's the first time I played like professionally.
I'm making rugby money. How can I make money outside of it?
And there was two Scottish guys, and they said, "Oh, you're here for the movie."
That rugby is a game for all shapes and sizes, all cultural aspects.
He looked at me and he said, "You guys are awesome."
Grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby, grow rugby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Grow Rugby. My name is GiftTime Ebelu, and this is a show where we speak to people about the opportunities that they have found, created, or taken advantage of via rugby. Y'all, what a weekend that was had. We got Rugby Town Sevens that was just this past weekend. Like, you know, you gotta love the way that 7 season ends into summertime, because it just adds like a different dynamic to how everybody starts getting excited back for 15s, because you get all this dynamic play, these great tournaments to close out and just make the difference. So to get Olympics, then National USA Rugby Club National Championships, then Rugby Town Sevens, the MLR draft. Yo, big weekends for rugby in the USA. And then, of course, I actually feel bad for the overseas. New Zealand had to cancel a bunch of games. They went back into quarantine. So that's definitely never a positive, you know. Hopefully that they're good, and, you know, and it was just from I think 2 COVID cases. But, you know, they don't play. They're not playing over there. And I think it's still going to be very telling what's going to happen next year when it comes to the Women's Rugby World Cup. It's still a thing. Guys, we didn't have it this year, so it's still supposed to be in New Zealand. So, it's great. But I just wanted to quickly say big shout out to one of our former guests and one of my homegirls, Coma Gandhi Fishbin, the head coach for the All Navy rugby team. They won the Armed Forces battle against USA Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Army. And shout out to her, because US Navy was able to get the championship in that matchup. So big to them. And then, of course, a great shout out not only just to all the teams that ended up performing and doing really, performing and putting out their best for Rugby Town Sevens. If you guys don't know, there was a $10,000 prize that goes at the end of that. So, there's a really huge incentive. But to the winners of it, Samurai RFC. That's basically an all-star team, like literally a full-ass all-star team. That happened. They won overall, beating SoCal Griffins 22-14, and of course, third-place team Rambling Jesters for doing what they do. Like those are hardcore teams. Those are almost close to pro, almost close to semi-pro, and I'm a big believer in the professional traveling rugby team. So I had a lot of people that have been on the cast, like we had like Akinola Raymond with the the Tsunami Barbarians, who ended up winning their plate final. So big shout out to them. Roots Rugby was in it. They didn't do as well, but this was their first time getting out there, had a great time, and you can see like they had Sarevi as their coach, which is awesome. Shout out to Tiffany Faye, who's got to coach alongside. I know she was looking to be able to get mentorship under him, so I can't imagine how much she was able to take from that. And if you guys don't know who they are, go check back on the episodes. They're right there. Oh yeah. And I don't know if I actually even said this a couple weeks ago in the last episode, but big shout out to our friend Katie Sadlier. I think I didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention it again and you can check out her episode as well over on here in the podcast. I believe It is episode. Ooh, I gotta go take a look. Where are you, Katie? Where is you, Katie? Episode 40. You guys, she moved from being the women's general manager at World Rugby, and starting in October, she will become the chief executive officer of the Commonwealth Games. So we got some great people. Mentioned already 3. Komagandi Fishbin, episode 40, 34, something like that. I didn't write it out well. That's on me. But you can check her out there. We talked about Katie Akinola Raymond, and yeah, just obviously so much more. And of course, guys, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to this. If you're seeing it on YouTube, please do the follow. If you're hearing it on your podcast, please follow us on your respective platform, whether you are on Spotify, whether you're on Apple Podcasts, whether you're using iHeartMedia, please follow through. And if you guys are on Apple, please, we need reviews. We need some comments. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's going on. And it also allows us to be able to get pushed up by the algorithm. If you guys feel like this has value, like you guys get to learn more about people, please just take all you need, just 3 seconds, hit that 5 stars, 4 star, 3 star. If you got to go 2 and 1, I mean, I get it. I prefer you didn't. And so if I'm assuming that if people don't do it, then they're assuming there's a lot of 2 stars going on here. No. But no, if you can, please, it helps the algorithm. It helps us get pushed up the list. And of course, we want to be heard by more and more people. A lot of people who don't naturally get voice, and we get a lot of great information here. And we're trying to be a little unconventional. It's about being a little unconventional. Sometimes it gets a little repetitive out there, so we want to change it up a little bit. So, guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this one, because we got a great guest today. This guy, I met this guy back in 2014, whenever USA Rugby South took on Guyana for the NACRA at the time. NACRA, now it's known as RAN, but NACRA, the NACRA championship game, and that was taking place at Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Guyana ended up getting the win on that on the last second kick, and we talk about this. I'm talking to the powerful Theo Henry of Guyana Rugby. This dude was dope. We talked about actually some time ago, but it was great getting to talk to him, getting to reminisce, getting to see where Guyana is getting ready to go, because you guys need to look out for them. It's a team that has always been on the radar, but in the last few years had been thrown off. But Theo has a plan and a strategy, and look for the Caribbean to be taken by storm by Guyana over this next couple years, because they have a history of being dangerous out there. They got a history of being dangerous. But you guys, I think you guys are going to enjoy this. Also, please, before you guys get started, check out the links below. We got some great offerings for you over at Rugby Outlet Mall. We're actually coming to the end of our stock, and we're about to replace the entire store with new merch and gear as we get ready to transition into this new year. So guys, if you haven't gone in there yet, definitely check it out. Definitely use the promo code, and I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let you guys look into the links down below, and you're going to be able to see it. And of course, if you guys are creating new websites, you guys want to be able to create e-commerce store, anything like that, give yourself an opportunity to make something as a club. Go ahead and go check out Green Geeks. We use this for our website. And by we, I mean me. Use it for my websites, use it for my stores, use it for my social media. Like, it is an amazing server. It allows you to utilize WordPress as an offering, and it makes everything so much cheaper. They're so efficient, great customer service, and you guys can go hit that link below to be able to get a percentage off of any new service that you guys are getting off of that. It'll be absolutely worth it. I'm telling you, it's the best. But in the meantime, you guys stay tuned. We got a great one. The great, the awesome, the amazing, the well conversing Theo Henry, head coach, Guyana Rugby.
Grow Rugby, Grow Rugby, Grow Rugby, Grow Rugby, Grow Rugby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Grow Rugby. My name is GiftTime and Bailu, and we have an incredible VIP guest, very important V, very, very important I, and the people of the people, holding it down for the great country of Guyana, Theo Henry. Coach, Theo, man, how have you been taking care of yourself, man?
I've been good, trying to keep my head above water.
Oh, this is how we all doing, man. How'd the pandemic treat you guys down there, by the way?
Well, I guess the same as everyone else, but we're just trying to do the best we could, given the situation.
Yo, no, I can feel that. Yo, and I'm happy. Like I said, it looks like you're doing well, and I'm glad you guys are up, and hopefully things continue to improve from there.
Yeah.
Well, when I always start this, and I was telling you this right beforehand, I always like talking about how I got to meet somebody, how I got to know about the person I'm talking to first. And, I always remember, again, you guys were actually the first game that I ever tried to broadcast live and failed horribly at it, but was still able to get a game on. When USA South for the NACRA Championships came to Atlanta, Georgia, USA South versus Guyana, Guyana winning in the coming as an underdog, winning in the last second off of a kick.
Yep. Oh man, that brings back fond memories, bro. Yeah, that was awesome.
Bro, I was like, oh man, it was one of the reasons why I remember saying, yo, I never want to watch a game get lost in memory, because you had moments like that if nobody had been recording it, all it is just talk, no proof.
For real. I mean, every time I look at the highlights of that game, it just take me back to that moment. That was incredible. I mean, 2014 was an incredible year for us in general, because we won the 7-a-side tournament in Mexico in similar fashion, came from behind, and then the same year we won the 15s in the similar fashion as well. Yeah, it was an amazing year.
Man, and it was the first time. I'll be honest, it was the first time that I think I had both been able to know Guyana as a country, because I'd only heard of it, but I don't think I've ever experienced. I've experienced Barbadians and Bermudans, Jamaicans, obviously galore, but I'd never seen Guyana in itself. So it was such a impressive moment. And then to be like, oh man, Guyana's like a real rugby powerhouse coming through here and developing. Yeah. So it was impressive, but unfortunately, times get hit, but you guys had this moment, and it looks like you're trying to bring this moment back again, and you've been slowly working your way back in. So I'm really happy and excited to hear basically what's been going on to start with. But
well, basically, in terms of games, in terms of training, things haven't been going on since the pandemic started. We were shut down since April of 2020, right? It's only recently, I would say, February of this year, we started back as a club training.
Nice.
But we haven't played any games as yet, because we haven't got any permission from the task force to go ahead with the games.
No, I can understand. And like I said, everything is coming back slowly, but it's coming back. So at least there's a little bit of a start. People are able to run around on the field a bit. And look, it's only a matter of time before everybody's full-fledged force. Hopefully by the fall, we're in full efficiency in terms of rugby.
A lot of the guys are itching to go, they're eager to get back on the pitch. Yeah, that's for sure.
That's definitely a good look. That's the best problem to have. Hey, man, we don't have enough games, but we have too much passion. We need a lot of passion to get out there. Oh, we're good. All right, just let us go loose.
True. I mean, we're basically trying to hold them back, because, I mean, the pandemic is still a serious situation.
Of course.
So taking health into consideration, we're kind of skeptical of really allowing them to go full force,
Yeah.
But we're still trying to make it happen for them, in the best we could.
Hey, look, again, it's in the bits and pieces, right?
True.
Right. So before we continue on a little bit more with Guyana and talking to that, I wanted to kind of get your story, because I always say with every superhero story, there's an origin, and you're the superhero here today. So I want to kind of start off with a question I always love to ask. Theo, how'd you get started in rugby?
Oh man, I never get tired telling this story. It's an amazing story.
I love it.
So I'm a big fitness enthusiast. I love working out, right? So in my neighborhood where I'm from, I used to work out at the gym. It was kind of a gym at the bottom of a house, because we're in Guyana. There are houses where there's a top story. There's a house. There's a building at the top, and then there's an empty space on the bottom. So we had a lot of free weight equipment down at the bottom of under the house. So I used to work out downstairs, right? And the guy that I used to work with he relocated, so he took his weights with him. So that left us without anywhere to work out, right? And one of my guys that I used to work with, he started playing rugby, and he told me if I started playing rugby with him, I get to use the facility, the gym for free.
Nice bait. He's like, look, we're not gonna let this body just go just lifting. You gotta do something with it.
Exactly. So I went out one day to training. So my intention was just to go training a couple of days, use the gym, and that was it. I wasn't gonna play the game. I didn't want to play the game. I wasn't interested. Right? So I trained twice. I trained a Tuesday evening and a Thursday evening. The coach they hadn't enough players to play on the weekend, so he threw me in the game.
Okay.
So I had my first feel after 2 training sessions.
After 2?
Right?
No.
After 2 training sessions, yeah. Man, I told you, I'm telling you, I fell in love with that game just after that very first day. That was it.
Man. No, you know what the thing is though, and that's always the funny part when it comes to rugby. Like, I swear, as soon as you touch the field, as soon as you get on the field for a game, it just changes the whole mentality of your mind. You're just like, yo, everything feels right. Like there's that buzz inside you where you're just like, okay, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be all right, but I don't know what's gonna happen. And then once you get either like that first hit or you get that first touch of the ball, it's done.
Oh, yeah. I was sharing hits because I hadn't any experience or knowledge about attacking because it was just my second game, but I was physical. I was making a lot of tackles, so I fell in love with the physicality immediately.
Man, so like even beforehand, other than lifting, did you do any other kind of sports? Was it just soccer or
basketball was my first love. I played basketball in high school, and in my neighborhood where I grew up, it's predominantly soccer. So soccer and basketball, those were my 2 games.
Man, so you go into this contact sport, and then all of a sudden it clicks in. I feel like there's always that revelation moment where you're just like, why has it been so long since I started this?
I'm telling you, but I guess it happened at the right time. I wish I started before, but it was a good enough time that I started. It was okay.
Okay, so it was still fairly new.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what's up. Okay, so you coming in literally the ground floor to get the ground floor weights.
Yeah, true.
Oh no, I love that. So after that first game, all right, obviously you kept coming back, but for you, was there when was that moment where you actually felt like you started understanding the game? Like, we go off of our instincts, especially when it comes to hitting. We go off our instincts first. We're just like, okay, shoulder, wrap, we'll figure it out. Even with the ball, it can be a little iffy, but then there's that moment where it starts to kind of come together a little bit, where you're just like, okay, I'm seeing what I'm supposed to. For you, what was that moment?
That moment was that was like 5 months into to me started rugby. I was well, actually 3 months after I started playing, I was selected on a long list for a national training, a seven-side national program, and I think during that period of training in the national setup, that's when I really came into my own and got a really good feel for the game because eventually I ended up making that team. I made that team after 6 months of playing rugby. Yeah.
Man, no, okay, that's dope. You know, that even in that moment, so you're talking about obviously such a short period of time from going from 0 to 60, let's call it, right?
True. Yeah.
For you, you know, was this one of the first moments that you had a chance to rep for your country? Because it's a different feeling, right? You know,
it was an amazing feeling. You know, it was a really amazing feeling. That's when I really took the game serious. When I got my first nod, you know, when I was selected the very first time, I was hooked. That was it.
Man, you know, that first game, you know, what was your feelings going into that one? The first guy that was you said against Trinidad, right?
No. That was a seven-a-side championship in Jamaica.
Okay,
bro. That was 2001. That was a horrible year for me. I experienced my two only injuries in that year in Jamaica at the seven-a-side championship. At my very first game, like 2 minutes into the game, I was so eager to go. I sprained my ankle like 2 minutes into the game, and that was pretty much it for me for the rest of the tournament. And then I was selected for the 15-a-side tournament in Cayman Islands, November the same year. That year, about 30 minutes into the tournament, I broke my wrist.
My God.
Yeah, but on the flip side, even though I only played 30 minutes, the West Indies selectors saw enough of me that they decided to select me for the West Indies seven-a-side team to play the seven-a-side tournament in Chile and Argentina.
Dude, that's so awesome. So, you know, it at least shows you go hard on the field at any cost.
Yeah, true.
No, so this one thing that I've always loved, that especially when it comes to rugby, and I know there's a lot of travel sports, but I feel like rugby adds this different element, especially for whenever it's well, for those who haven't. For you, prior to going to travel with the rugby team, how often had you been off of the island itself?
I've never traveled before rugby.
Yo, so it opened up the opportunity in the world right there.
I swear, you know, if there's one thing I could say is that rugby gave me that opportunity, and I will forever be indebted to rugby for making me be able to see a lot of places. It was amazing.
Man, you know, I've always been a big believer that whenever a person is able to step outside of their regular home range, especially whenever you get to see the world, a lot of problems that you have at home, not necessarily physically, but mentally, become a lot smaller because you're able to see broadly. It gives you much more greater aspect. For you, you know, especially after that first game in Jamaica, even though all the injuries and everything, but being able to get off the island and then subsequently doing it again for the Cayman Islands, and then, you know, follow up with Chile and Argentina.
Yeah.
With that feeling of being able to expand, what was it like bringing it back home for you? Like whenever you're talking to friends and family?
You know, just to add a little bit to what you were saying in terms of being travel. You know, I'm a firm believer. Well, I like to tell persons, I wish everybody in Guyana would get the opportunity to travel. You know, because I think it would broaden their view on life. Because persons tend to think that the way that we do things is the only way it should be done. You know, But I think if you're exposed to different cultures and get the opportunity to go to different places and see the way how they do things, I think person would be a bit more, what to say, come out of the bubble that we're in. Because I think a lot of people live in a bubble, thinking that our way is the only way. But getting back to what you're saying about the travel, it really opened a lot of doors for me personally. It gave me the opportunity to know that there's things beyond the things that I even imagined that I could have done, that I could get into, because I was exposed to a lot. So, I wish everybody would get that opportunity as well.
No, it's almost like it's an unlock. It unlocks another part of that soul, another part of that mind to expand upon it. No, I love to hear that. I love hearing that. Like, especially for a place. So I know on the islands, I'm not saying all of it's a monolith, but I know on the islands, Cayman Islands and Jamaica might have a lot more familiarity with Guyana. But whenever you went to a place like Chile and Argentina, for you, like what was that experience like? Because we're talking about a different culture. I mean, almost night and day, literally and figuratively.
To be honest, Argentina, it was kind of a culture shock because you had to readjust. First of all, you had to get readjusted to the weather because we're sunshine and rain. Argentina, even though it might not be snowing at that period, it gets really cold. So that was the first thing. The food was different. Not being able to speak Spanish was a challenge. But I'm the type of person, I think I adapt to any kind of situation. So it wasn't really much of a challenge for me personally. It just took me a couple of days to really get myself through the grooves. Yeah, but it was okay. It was a really good experience.
No, that's what's up.
Yeah.
And that's like I know I felt the same. Like I went down to Brazil recently, and even at that, like you get the language, you get the environment, and you just it again, there's so much that feels similar, and then there's that big hit that you go that you're like, oh, okay, I am in another place. Like I'm not at home.
But the thing that I think makes it easy, is the brotherhood of rugby, because of the fact that you're among your rugby brothers.
Right.
Rugby is a universal language. It doesn't matter where you're at. Once you speak rugby, that's it. You're a part of the crew. This is fine.
No,
I figure if it was a case where I was just traveling by myself, it might have been a totally different experience.
Right. No, that's true. It's true. It's a protective bubble, but it's the best bubble. Like it's that fraternity. We always say it I consider it the largest fraternity that doesn't require hazing.
Yeah, true.
Man, no, I love that. So you're developing in through this rugby sphere, and within a year, it sounds like within a year you had already reached a national team. You've already done both 7s and 15s, which most people usually choose one or the other. And then you have an all-star team. So as you've gotten deeper into this, how has been the development of Guyanese rugby in that time? Because as you said, when you started, it was fairly new. So what was the development like within the country? Because again, you said basketball and football seem to be the clear sports of the area.
No. Basketball was my choice.
Okay.
Cricket and football are the two main choices in Guyana.
Touche.
The development of rugby was steady. When I started playing, rugby was already developed in Guyana, right? Rugby was being played here as early as back in the 60s.
Okay.
Right. But in terms of the best period, in terms of one of the most successful era, that occurred during my stint in terms of playing. Right. So I would say it took me personally, it took me 5 years to develop a winning culture with the team.
Right.
Because from 2006 to like, from 2006 to present, even though we haven't played, all right, let's say from 2006 to 2019, right? Guyana's won to date 8 seven-side championship from 2006 to 2019. Six of those championships were consecutive championships. So we've been doing fairly well in terms of winning.
What do you think has been accustomed to that? Because again, even though the history has been long, even in the States, the history has been long, but it still feels like it's still a really new sport. So what do you think has been so key to your guys' ability to have that winning culture? What happened in that? You said it took about 5 years. So what happened between 2006 and 2011 that...
So what happened was from 2005 to about 2008, the West Indies rugby team was fully functional, right? So when we played in the regional tournaments, they would usually select an all-star team that would go to the US and play against likes of Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. The big seven-side teams in the Los Angeles Sevens at that time, as well as the San Diego Sevens. So we were fortunate enough that we had about 3 to 4 guys consistently being selected to represent the West Indies team. So I think that the opportunity for us to play at that level and being able to come back and share the experience with the local guys, I think that kind of created that winning culture for us.
And that makes sense. You get to tap into one, different coaching, two, like you said, the different talent levels. So you're getting to kind of iron sharpening iron simultaneously. Sure. And then retain that and being able to teach us. And I'm assuming that was happening. Like, how long did the West Indies team last? Like, do you know how long it had been going on up to that point?
Well, it 2001 was my first nut at the team. It has been on and off between 2000, from about 2000 to 2008. It was on and off.
Okay. So you had a pretty solid amount of years. So by the time it gets to 06 to 08, you have a solid 5 to 7 years of guys having come through that program over and over. And I'm assuming a good, like half of them became coaches or coached in some way, shape, or form. So you have that player coach mentality bringing up new generations, right?
Yep, exactly.
So what was, even in spite that, like what was the youth, like the generational reload, I like to say? Like how was the youth programs and as opposed to maybe a club and maybe U23s? Like how did you guys manage to keep a constant roster, I guess to say the least?
So the youth program was pretty solid back around that period, because we started the school, the youth development program in schools, which allowed us to create a really good under 18 team that won 3 consecutive championships as well.
Nice.
And most of the players from that under 18 team made up the nucleus of the 7-side team that was so dominant.
That makes sense. So it was everything's just was churning well. You guys really had a system already in place between guys being able to go out and bring knowledge in while also being able to develop players underneath. So,
correct.
So you guys are going through this. For you, you're seeing this two-way street. Who are some of the people that mentored you in your process that helped the ease of your development in rugby?
Locally?
I mean, both locally and nationally. Where was most of your inspiration from, directly and indirectly?
Well, most of my inspiration came from watching Fiji play. Yeah,
good mentor.
I was a big Serevi fan. Serevi. I was watching Serevi on VHS. I literally used to pause that VHS, rewind, play it, rewind it again, go out into the yard, practice that move, get back inside, watch that tape again. One 7-side game, literally would take me maybe like an hour and a half to watch. 15 minutes. A 15 minutes game would take me like an hour and a half to watch.
Just rewinding it back for just to make sure. Look, let me get the footwork. How's his footwork going? Get
exactly.
that jump step.
Precisely. Yep. And locally, I had the opportunity to play with a guy named Conrad Arjun. That was my national captain at that period. He was really influential in terms of empowering me, because he played standoff. He played 10 and I played 12, but he allowed me to make a lot of the decision in terms of the stuff that we would execute, and I think it kind of built my confidence as a player.
No, that's what's up, and that's what you always want from again your captain. Really is, look, I want to show that you can trust me while also helping me to be able to hone the craft bit by bit. So if he's setting you up on the passes, especially as an inside center, like you're basically having that one-on-one connection and knowing that you guys can be that thunder and lightning duo, or just have that dynamic, man, it allows you to be able to take the responsibility of seeing the field so much.
It did. It really did.
Man, I love that. You've been able to see so much success over the time with Guyana leading up, and I'm leading up to that NACRA championship, even though you guys had a bunch. But going in that, as you're getting more and more, what was it that was going into that 2013, 2014 year that you guys just it seemed to all click together? Like you said, 2014, you 7s and 15s was yours. What was it like those 2 years, 2012, 2013, that gave you guys so much impact?
Well, 2014 was basically, it was a redemption tournament for us, because we lost our championship. So we were the defending champions of 2011. So we won it in 2011. Then we went to the tournament in Canada, and we lost in Canada. So, a lot of the guys were pretty upset that we lost the streak, because that was it. The 6th championship straight. We were going for the 7th one, but we didn't get it. So a lot of guys were quite upset. Then the following year, which was 2013, the tournament was held in Cayman Islands. and we were unable to attend the tournament because at that period they were having it was hurricane season as well, so we weren't able to get a flight into Cayman Islands. So Trinidad ended up winning that tournament in Cayman Islands, you know. So we felt a bit slighted that we weren't able to attend the tournament, you know. So
you weren't allowed to get the belt. It was like, it's not even a real tournament. We weren't even allowed to be there, but not even our own control.
Exactly. So we felt like, you guys are the champion, but we weren't there. We thought we really felt that we were the real champions. So the guys were eager to get into Mexico to kind of redeem ourselves. So that's what really sparked the entire the 2014 run. But and that was pertaining to the 7-a-side championship. But for the 15-a-side tournament, it was basically the fact that the championship was eluding us for quite a long time. Yeah, I mean, we were getting to the finals a lot. I think we went to the finals maybe like 2 or 3 consecutive years, but we just weren't able to get over the hump. So, the guys were like, we definitely felt 2014 had to be the year.
No, so it was just like, okay, all right, we're going over the hump this year. Like, there's nothing left. We're going over this hump one way or another. And look, and it was a close game. Like, especially I remember for that one. I remember because it's on my channel. I remember it was just because it was like USA South went up early, and then you guys had whatever conversation in the second half, and just like it really ended the first half, and just started like coming back with it.
Let me be honest with you. I basically told the guys, listen, we are going to win this game. I just felt it in my heart that we were going to win this game. And what happened was, even though the US was up, I think it was 28-3. Right?
Something like that. I don't know if it was even that high. It was still a pretty close game. I think it was like 14-3 or something like that.
Yeah, bro. No, at the half they were up. They were in the 20s at the half.
Right. You know what? You're right.
Yeah. So we scored a try in the 9 minutes of the first half. Right? And so that kind of gives me even more. It kind of made my statement a bit more valid. I was like, guys, we are gonna win this game. These guys are tired, right? So I think the guys bought into what I was saying, because they came down with fire in their eyes in the second half, and we really went to work.
Man, and to work you guys did, because I remember it was just like long run, and then crash. And then it was just, oh man, because I know you got a score out of that game as well too.
And I'm telling you, I think that score is what really, really made the guys actually believe, because I wasn't just talking it, I did it. I was like, we're gonna win this game, and that was an amazing try.
Man, I love that. And you guys came out that game. You guys won it last second off not the extra point, off of the free kick, the 3-pointer. The penalty kick. Thank you. Sorry. You get those mind blubs. And off the penalty kick at the last second from the corner at that too.
Yeah, it was a really good.
I just remember it was just like, wow, what a game. It was like, this is a great game. And I was so sad I couldn't broadcast it, but I was so happy editing it.
I up to this day, I think that game was probably the game of 2014, and I'm talking about even international teams. I think that was a really good game.
Yeah, no, because you know what? Honestly, I'm not surprised, because it was basically a movie story in real time.
Yeah.
It really was a movie story in real time. And I knew a lot of the guys that played for the USA South, so it was kind of interesting, the dynamics of it But like I said, it was one that I was so happy that I had the opportunity to be able to grab at that time. You know, so like after you guys come off of that game, the 2014 season, I don't remember 2015 you guys were in it, and in 2016 you guys went out, but something happened and there seemed to be a tail off from there. What happened after that season?
So 2015 we went to North Carolina.
Right. For Kerry. You guys did the sevens, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Again, we lost in North Carolina again. And
for what it's worth, that was a really tough situation. Like it was not built for anybody except for the U.S. to come out of that. Like I don't feel like it was. There was nothing. Like I was there too. There was no way. And USA was going to go to the Olympics. Like they were going to go.
Facts. Yeah. But 2015 was another down year for us. You know, we picked it back up in 2016. So yeah, that's how it was.
Yeah. So from that point until 2019, because 2020 was 40 years of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, what had you guys been doing? Because it seems like what had your career been going on within rugby? Because you know, from there to now being coach and strength and conditioning coach, and now being able to be part of this revival. Like what happened in the 4 years after 2016 to 2020, give or take?
So 2016, I went to Hungary on a scholarship to do a strength and conditioning diploma at the School of Physical Education in Hungary. So that was pretty much my highlights for 2016. When I came back home, I worked a bit with the female national side.
Yeah.
And then I worked with them the following year as well. And that was pretty much it for me in terms of coaching until 2019. I was reappointed the national coach for the senior men's side again, seven side.
Nice. So with the team itself though, as well. So you're off. You can't play. You're overseas working on strength and conditioning and developing your skills on that. So
yeah.
When you with the team itself, like what was going on with the program? Because again, without offense, but it doesn't feel like Guyana is the same program that it was, 5 years ago. What occurred? Was issues with youth rugby or travel or?
It was a bit of issue with the development of youth, as well as the turnover of youth into the senior side. It's something that I've been stressing for the better part of maybe 5 to 6 years.
Right.
I was trying to get a lot of to create a blend of senior players as well as youth into the national setup, because I think in terms of longevity, in terms of maintaining that winning culture, we needed to have younger legs in the program, which we failed to do. So it kind of set us back where we have to do into a rebuilding stage.
No, and that makes sense. It's difficult to reload if there's nobody there to be able to reload in.
Sure.
And it catches us all. And so it was something that I wondered, because I even know, like when it came to the U19 tournaments, I know Guyana had been very evident there, and then they weren't. So that made me always wonder if that was part of it. So now that you've gotten this appointment into the national coaches, and obviously 2020 has been basically a lost year of 100 years. I like to constantly exaggerate the fact that this was 1,000 years of nothing. We have all aged. But, for you, now that you are in that position, that not that you weren't already a leader, but now that you have even more influence on the day-to-days, what is it that you are hoping to be able to do moving forward to be able to bring back the winning culture that Guyana has historically been known for?
Well, I think the operative word you use there is culture. I'm trying to reinstill the culture into the new crop of players coming through. Because I think for some reason or the other, I think we strayed away from our own culture a couple of years prior to us, not performing as we used to, So that is one of the things I'm trying to get back into the program, the culture of working hard. I'm a firm believer of persons working hard and earning their spot.
Right. No favoritism. Let the nepotism, let the meritocracy play out in the way that it needs to.
Exactly.
For you in doing that, is there anybody that, just like you had whenever you were playing, is there people that you are emulating now as a coach? Because I've talked to players who moved from the national side over to the coaching side, and they've always mentioned the challenges that they've had. For you, is there anybody that you use as a lead to be able to coach, either out in rugby or outside of it?
So I've been coaching the national side for quite a long time now. This is not my first. This is my second appointment as national coach, because since 2010, I had the opportunity of working with Joe Whipple, who used to be the head coach of the West Indies team. I was his assistant, even as a player. Then I took over the national team as a player coach in 2011. And I coached the team all the way up to 2015. Right? From 2011 to 2015, we won a total of 2 championships with me as player coach. Right? Then so the question you asked is about the coaches that are influential in terms of me making that transition. I would say Gordon T. Jones from New Zealand that used to coach the All Blacks. I had the opportunity of being his understudy one time when I was at a training camp in Las Vegas.
Nice.
Yeah. Al Cavalli, that used to coach the US Eagle. Mm-hmm. I had the opportunity of working with him as well at a training camp in Argentina. So those guys are the guys that,
some high regard.
Kind of me, that I look up to and look forward to emulating.
Yo, I love that. I love that. Kind of winding down, as you continue to see what the future holds, I've been a big believer that the pandemic, as annoying as it has been and inconveniencing and tragic as it's been for so many, I think it opened up a lot of opportunity for new ideas and new ways of people going about it. I consider this to be the revolution of rugby, where people have the opportunity now to actually be not just rugby within the culture of it as we know it, but to actually include the stylizations of different cultures. Like there can be, instead of it being the European version of, I always talk about with the US, the England version of US rugby, or the US rugby of England rugby, the US version of England rugby, or the whatever country version of the All Blacks rugby. It becomes yours. For you, what do you foresee as Guyanese rugby? What would you describe the style of Guyanese rugby at its best?
The style of Guyanese rugby, I would say, is pretty much a mixture of Fiji and Kenya. Fiji in terms of flair, and Kenya in terms of speed and in terms of that grit, you know, yeah, that I would say that would be a perfect blend of our game.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
And I can legitimately see that and it goes very naturally, you know, because I think that's one part that is always been trying to figure out. How do you make sure that the style fits well with your own personal culture so that people buy in the heaviest from that moment?
And the style must match the characteristics or the composition of the players that you have.
Exactly.
You know, you cannot have big, stocky, slow players and trying to play fast game.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's counterproductive. So basically, the style that we would develop would be suitable for the composition of players that we have.
No, I love that. I love that. And you find yourselves now even being able to find new ways even about going about recruiting, because now obviously, again, the pandemic is still in play, but now, you know, it's the opportunity to be more creative with it or finding it. Like, is the plan that you guys have for recruiting new players something that you feel confident about, or do you think it's something that's still a work in progress?
I think it's still a work in progress. What we have right now is basically a lot of players just gravitating towards the game off of their own accord. You know, I think we need to go on a bit more aggressive drive in terms of attracting players instead of just hoping players come, you know, naturally to us.
No, that makes sense. And what how does the country of Guyana kind of respond to rugby? I know it's still a small, medium-sized country. Like, how does it respond in terms of its existence?
Repeat. I didn't hear you.
No problem. I was saying, how does the country of Guyana respond to rugby? Because I know every country has a different response. I know talking with Trinidad, they were like, well, we already know, like, people understand rugby pretty well versus I think talking with a place like Syria where it's just out of sight, out of mind. This doesn't connect the same because we have, you know, all these other sports and everything else going around. How about for Guyana? How is it for you guys?
So what I would say, like I mentioned before, cricket as well as soccer, those are the two main sports.
It's creme de la creme.
But one thing rugby will always have is that we were, at our height, we were one of the most successful sporting team in the country.
Nice.
So with that said, you know, there will always be a place in the heart of Guyanese for us. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So final words from you. What is last thing from you? What is something that you want people to know about Guyana Rugby that either it dispels any myths or it's something that you feel needs to be emphasized so that people know what's going on with Guyanese rugby?
I think the only thing that I basically would say is that I think the standard that we set, you know, during the winning era, I think persons around especially around the region, you know, got a bit disappointed in terms of us turning up and not really bringing that same fight, that same energy to the tournaments, because persons would usually say, you know, what's up with you guys? You guys aren't the same team as before, and it was a fact, you know. So it is a work in progress, but rest assured, we'll be back.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, Theo, let people know where they can find any information about Guyana Rugby.
Yeah, so during the pandemic, I had the opportunity of starting something that I really wanted to start it for quite a bit, but I've been dragging my foot on it for
You
the
know, it's one of
longest.
that's why I said the pandemic has added like it's the one benefit as much of the tragedy and all the lives lost and we hate all of that, but it like opened up another thing where it's like, you know what? Why not? Why not?
Exactly. You know, and it goes hand in hand with my belief in terms of the culture of rugby. Well, the Guyanese culture of rugby, because we've been noted for our hard work, you know, for all the years we've been playing, and we've always been one of the fittest teams to show up at any tournament.
Right.
Right. So my love for fitness, well, it started before rugby, but during my period of playing rugby and playing at maybe let's say at the highest level for quite a bit, you know, I fell in love even more with fitness, which prompted me to start my own fitness club. It's called Inner Strength Fitness. You know,
congratulations.
One of the things that, yeah, thank you, man. One of the things I'm trying to do, not just working with rugby players, but working with various sporting entities. You know, getting their players fit and prepared for national engagements, even local engagements. You know, it's been a passion of mine for quite a bit, and I'm happy that I'm doing it right now.
Dude, man, yo, one big congrats on that, because that's always a big leap, especially when getting ownership of something that's yours. I'm a big advocate of that. And then second, especially in this era, as we've become, I'm not going to say as we become softer or anything like that. I'm talking about more on the need to be able to develop good habits with our health. You know, so to be able to be a part of that movement. Yo, dude, please let me know if there's anything that I can do to be able to help on that. Whether you're just doing online anything or anything I can suggest, let me know, because you know I'd love to be able to help in helping you progress on that.
I appreciate it, man. So Guyana Rugby, we have a YouTube page. A Facebook page. You know, Guyana Rugby Football Union. You know, so basically you could get on there and you could interact with us.
Yo, I love it. I love it. Theo, man, I legitimately appreciate this. I'm very happy to be able to also get to talk to you again and have this opportunity, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, bro.
Theo, man, dude, I am so grateful for you to be on here, man. It was dope talking with you, getting a chance to be able to catch back up. Look forward to it again. And guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you guys took the dimes that were there and turned them into and recognized the gems that were dropped out of that. Guys, please go ahead. If you can, we got some amazing other ones. Last week we had Cody Melfi on the show. Previously, we had Mick Feely of Citizens Rugby. We had Maria Thomas, Phaedra Knight. We've had Robbie Owens, aka Squidge Rugby. Karima Prince of Prairie View A&M. Kirill Guthrie of the James G. And James G. Robertson and Clive Sullivan Foundation. As I mentioned earlier, we've had great ones. Vice President Jamaica Rugby Union, Keisha Downs. We've got Ryan Ginty of Next Level Rugby, who did all the MLR games. Shout out to them and the draft. Like I mentioned, Katie Sadlier, Ada Milby, Tozon Tututanwe, Warren Mullis, and Preston Thompson of American Rugby Pod. Guys, we got so much content. We got Olympic winners. We got anyone that you guys need, and we're bringing in even more. So, guys, you guys enjoy, but most importantly, I hope you're happy. I hope you are healthy. And most of all, I hope you know that you are highly favored. Until next time, y'all. Cheers.